Guest is David Gilmour with a new solo album. There's a lot of real interesting cuts that we're going to be listening to as we talk to David through this evening. It's 20 minutes after 5 o'clock at WNEW FM. Okay, we're at WNEW FM in New York, and our guest is David Gilmour, and never had the opportunity to talk to you on the air before.
Oh, no, this is true. I've done it a few times before. It seems a bit like a flashback. I haven't been on this sort of a program for 7 or 8 years, I should know. I used to do it all the time in 68 and that sort of around then.
And just in your private life, when you're not recording, when the group's not on tour, do you have specific things you like to do? I mean, do you play around? Do you invest?
I've got to, yeah. I mean, we have got some various business things going on.
Oh.
But I don't...
You paint or read or...
I read a lot. I've got a wife and a daughter that I spend time with. I got a boat. Yeah, that track you just played is the name of my boat. But, sail around. I was going to ask that before we got to the next cut, which is an interesting cut too. You call the boat the Mihalis? It's Greek for Michael.
Hmm.
That's what it was called when I got it. And it's bad luck to change it. So they say out in Greece. So I kept it like that. I do all sorts of normal things that people do.
Well, I trust you're happy with your little girl.
Absolutely.
They have a way of making you very happy. You know, I think most men, say, gosh, somebody that I know, a good friend, you probably know him too. That little girl he wanted a boy, and don't worry, you'll get to where you like it.
I don't mind. Whatever comes. In the meantime, just have good fun practicing.
You live in the country?
Yeah, kind of. Well, it was. It's getting a little less right where I am at the moment. They're building a new town that's creeping up. So within about 300 yards of my house now. So.
Is your boat a sailboat or a powerboat?
It's an old Greek fishing tub. Wood.
Have some
very
fun.
Slow.
It goes chug, 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 one of those?
One of those, right.
And how long are you going to be in the country?
Just a week.
Going to go around and talk to a few people?
Yep. Trying to get a few of them to have a listen to that.
Well, I tell you, it's quite unique, of course. It's the first time it's happened, and I've always felt it was very healthy for an individual, no matter how many members are in a group, if they want to do something on their own, that it was healthy. I think probably if you take two people living together and you find there's some problems once in a while, and then you say 3 people or 4 or 5, and you get a group who live together, literally, when they're on tour, and sometimes it's good to do a mental break so that you do your individual thing too. And obviously, you've just done this.
You said it exactly. I've said exactly the same thing to about several interviewers over the last couple of days. I've said exactly that. And they were actually asking, most of them actually asked whether I thought it was a dangerous thing. And I said, I don't see it as a dangerous thing. I see it as a healthy thing. A few people thought that was unusual.
Well, I don't understand that, but then, I guess if you...
Well, I thought it might be divisive, create frictions, but it certainly shouldn't do, no. I don't think it would.
Well, a group like the band, an American group here, who had their farewell, announced the movie and so forth.
Yeah.
The last waltz for them was Thanksgiving of last year. Now, they had a pretty strict setup that
comeback.
They would get together for about a week before their tour and rehearse a little and then go on tour. And they don't even see each other or talk to each other after that until they get together again. And even then, they, just decided to go separate ways, and some into writing and so forth. And I guess most people don't realize. I mean, they idolize the group as such. They idolize you and the members of the group of Pink Floyd. And they demand...
Well, they make it into something that it isn't, They make it into... Pink Floyd is is a figure in their minds, which in fact doesn't exist to us. I mean, they see the Pink Floyd, and it means this big monumental structure of some sort, and whereas we just see it as us four people doing what we do when we do it together. So it has a different frame of importance for different people, and we get on very well, actually. Generally speaking, most of the time we get on very well, but we don't see each other when we're not working very much at all.
Well, I would think that would be healthy. That's what I mentioned before, because, if you, in your daily routine, anyone's daily routine, people you see and work with during the course of the day, and then you change that atmosphere by going to wherever home is, whoever that person is. So there's a constant change, and then you will go off on a trip or something, and you will go to this meeting, you see various people, but if you are in a room with the same people constantly, or over a long period of time, and traveling and performing and everything else, the walls get small.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, we spent all of 1966 and the first half of 1977 working together consistently most of the time, and we definitely needed a break from each other at the end of that. We decided to take about a year off from each other, and we're obviously lucky being in a position where we don't have to work together all the time. I mean, it's exactly that breaks up a lot of groups, isn't it?
Yes, of course it is.
But they can't stand the sight of each other after a while, and they don't get the opportunity to take a break, and they make it very personal between themselves, and they can't handle it.
It actually gets physical at times.
Yeah.
And the other thing is...
you don't actually have to be friends to be good artistic working companions. Although I would say that we are friends, and we get on well, but not social friends outside of the Pink Floyd setup.
The only other thing I've found is there may be a larger ego involved with a individual of a particular group, decides that he really maybe is the group, then will embark on something on his own.
And quickly discovers that he isn't.
Yes, that's happened before on a number of occasions. Our guest is David Gilmour, who's a delightful person, has a brand new album. And the name of it is David Gilmour, and he's done some of his own things in a couple of ways. There are some people who collaborated on the songs, and David will talk about that after we hear There's No Way Out of Here. I like that, and I see that the song called There's No Way Out of Here, someone worked with you on that, right?
I didn't write it at all. It's written by a guy called Ken Baker, who's in a group called Unicorn that I produced a couple of albums for in the last 3 or 4 years, and it was the track on one of their albums that I found suited my mood when I was making my album, and we tried it out, and it worked well.
It's nice. Well, there are a bunch of good songs, and did you, by design, or just take songs that you liked or that you felt like doing? Because I noticed there's a great deal of variety in the album if you really get into it. At its new stage now, can't expect the listeners to be totally into the album at this point with the different cuts that they've heard. Was that by design, or are they just your favorites?
I mean, that one song is the only one that isn't written by me on there, and I wrote all the others as we were starting to make this album. So it wasn't really a question of favourites, it was what I had.
Do you write all the time, or only when you feel like it?
Well, I only write when I feel like it, and it seems to need some sort of catalyst to make it come out. And the process of starting this album, the day I actually started, from the day when I actually started going in the studio, trying things out, just rough things, with some sort of determination in my mind that I was probably going to start to make a proper album. From that moment on, ideas poured out. I mean, loads of things came out of me that, without me trying to do it, but they just kept coming out. Well,
I would think if something happens, for instance, when you're out on your boat and you get an idea, do you pencil something down and maybe do it later? A thought wave?
Well, not in that particular instance.
Not necessarily.
I don't write it down, but I carry a very small portable cassette recorder with me most of the time, and anytime anything comes up, I just bang it down on there, even if it's just 10 seconds of something, or a few words, or a line, or something. I just put it down on there, and then I can forget about it happily and know that I've got it for later. I can come back to it and work on it.
The reason I'm smiling, David, is my boss does that when he's listening to the station. and he hears something, he gets it out, and he says, what happened? And such and so and so.
Well, they're very useful. They're like, it's like a little memo pad, but it's an audible one that you can hear, play back later.
Our guest is David Gilmour, who has a new solo album out, and it is very tasty. It's 22 minutes before 6 o'clock. All righty. You rushed over and took a peek at something. David Gilmour is our guest.
Mm-hmm.
What would you take a peek at, just out of curiosity?
I don't want to give them...
Oh, okay. This wall, of course, is alphabetical. If you take a look to your left over there in the P's, you will probably see from the back the design of the jackets. You can probably see by color. I think it will be right almost directly where you're looking, the shelf below. No, just below that. Yeah. I think you will see all of the albums, unless somebody ripped off one of them. But we have here in the studio for everybody and people who are on all night and all that, that'll be where it ends. That'll be the next one, and then to the left of that will be all the... And what that does, of course, is when people get in mind, they want to go back to an individual song. I think for some reason yesterday, or the day before, it was a summer day, and I went back to that summer 68, because here it is coming summer 78, 10 years, and it doesn't seem that long, but that was an interesting cut, as all the things were that you guys did as Pink Floyd.
10 years, my gosh.
Yes, getting right.
Time fly.
Yeah, but it kind of says something, doesn't it? It's still there.
We're getting older.
Yeah, but it's still there, and you're still here. That says something, too, because you have a lot of friends and a lot of co-artists who disappeared somewhere.
Yeah, this is true, yeah.
Someone's probably going to do a book someday about whatever happened to, of just people who were involved, who were very big. And then something happened, or a group split, or they decided to leave for a while. And probably, for the most part, it would be surprising to most people. They may be happy somewhere.
Yeah.
Out on a farm or something.
I hope so,
yeah.
Durability is the secret of our success.
I hope you'll come back and see us. We've got a few seconds left, and I certainly want to wish you well with your solo effort, the new album. We're here, and we invite you to come by anytime you feel like it when you're in our crazy city in New York. And I wish you the best, David Gilmour.
Thank you.
Thank you. Scott Meany at WNEW FM, Metro Media Stereo.